Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Slam Talk Sports, and today we are talking about SuperCoach. Yes, it is the biggest week for SuperCoach for the entire season. It is moving week, or trading week as some people like to call it. We are fast approaching the round 2 lockout and we must get our sides in order going forward. The big price changes are about to take place and we'll get stuck into all of them. But firstly, let's look at how my SuperCoach side went in round 1. Not too bad, everybody. 1941, not one of the best scores. I mean, I would like to be in the 2000s once again, but a 20,000 season rank change is what we're aiming for as we build into the season. I don't know why it says 37 trades available. I still have 39. Just the one trade last week, which was Matthew Flynn out for Levi Ashcroft. Happy with that one so far, but I've got some big moves planned for this round. The aim, of course, is to be top 1,000 by the end of the season, but we'll see how we go depending on the moves I make in the next couple of weeks. Let's pull up the side to see how my team is looking. Pretty happy with that. I mean, the defense, not great so far from Harry Sheezel. I mean, I would have liked more than an 81. Hold on, let's move me back in there. Hold on. There I am. Sheezel, 81. Pretty average. Jordan Clark, 122. Love that pick. He's got some more kick-outs. It appears he's getting more handball receives, more ball off the halfback line with Luke Ryan having a slow start to the year. He has the biggest break even for round 2, I think 192. So the Luke Ryan holders or owners have a big choice to make. Matty Roberts, been a great pick, averaging over 110, which is exactly what we wanted from this brilliant halfback from the Swans. Jaden Shaw, you will be headed to Nightmare Alley very soon. I will take you to a nice seafood dinner and never call you again because I'll be dropping you off at the round 1 trade table very soon. You will have your head removed from your shoulders when I'm done with you in the next 15 minutes. Connor O'Sullivan, great pickup by me. He's probably about 5th or 6th in my rookie trade rankings on who you should be bringing in for this round. Very happy I own costs at the moment. And the other guys are a bunch of scrubs. Luke Traynor, Zach Reed, Ben Patton. No disrespect, but in SuperCoach, you are almost useless to me, all 3 of you. Move on to our midfield. Chucky Neal. So good to have you back amongst the high scorers in SuperCoach. 133 as my captain. A lot of people struggled with captaincy this week. I mean, people had Gorn, people had Sheezel. Some people just took DeConing's score from Thursday night. I personally needed more points on the board. I was in a lot of tough matchups, so very happy that Lockie saluted with a big 1-3-3. Brayshaw's been disappointing, so has Sarong, for all Sarong owners over there. I mean, we play West Coast this week, Freo. Not we. I mean, my SuperCoach team plays against West Coast because they have Freo players everywhere. Hopefully, he can put up a decent score against the Eagles, or I will start to get pretty worried about that selection. Oliver will have brilliant score, always dominates against North Melbourne. Chera Baby, you're my cherry Adam, averaging 110 after 2 rounds. Plays the Doggies and their somewhat depleted midfield on Friday night. If you don't have Adam Chera, I don't know if I'm going out to get him just due to the injury history with his hamstrings. Soft tissue issues have always plagued him. But geez, if you started with him, you've done very, very well. I must congratulate myself in that regard. Finn Callahan, another player who I would like to bring in if I didn't already own him because I'm a bit of a guru. No, but seriously, 2 games, 124 average. Obviously, the first score against the Pies, no one got because it was opening round. But geez, they just had a bye. He would be a pretty nice trade-in for an underperforming premium. If there's someone you're very unhappy with through the first couple of rounds, like, I don't know, a Will Day, or anyone around that price bracket, Finn Callahan would be a very viable player to get in because I just think he's going to have an awesome role this year on a really good team. O'Sullivan, as soon as I can trade you out, I will. That might be in 10 minutes' time. Nathan O'Driscoll, he is the number 1 trade-in player for me. He was last week. He remains so this week. If you don't own Nod, what are you doing with your team? He's going to make you well over $100,000 and put up 80s to 90s on your field. You need the Noddy man. And finally on my field, Mitchell Nevitt, who got 58 against the Saints. Not great, but going to make a little bit of money for us, so we're still happy to have him in the team. And if you don't own him, he'd be 4th or 5th in my list of priorities. Bench, a bunch of spuds. Camperale got subbed. Angus Hasty didn't play, and Elijah Sardis broke his finger in the warm-ups. and is now looking like a likely trade candidate for me. Move down, we have Maxi Gawn and Tommy DeConning. Maxi Gawn was trash. He got smashed by Tristan Cherry. And if you do have him, please do not trade him. He is the best ruckman ever in SuperCoach. It was a bad game. He played well round one. Just calm it down, as Abs would say. Hold the fort. Take your time. Deep breath. Goose Frabar. You're going to be okay. DeConning, superstar. Wish you got more. Wish Michael Voss knew how to rotate the bench properly, but that's okay for now. We'll figure that out in the coming weeks if Vossi gets in trouble and sacked. Horn Francis, you've been a bum. You've not been what I paid for. If you notice my team, Max Gawn, Lockie Neal, Horn Francis, Sheasel, none of the top options that we thought would be the best in their position have lived up to the billing. They haven't produced to their monetary value. Disappointing. I'm going in tonight to see him hopefully destroy the Essendon Football Club. And if he doesn't, well, then big questions must be asked whether we really did need to start him in our starting sides, considering he's only averaging 70 points. Jack McRae is our SuperCoach player of the round. 35 disposals, 10 tackles. He's first in the league in contested possessions, which is remarkable because I was told he's a VFL player, yet he's putting up these elite AFL statistics. Truly a brilliant comeback. I mean, a bigger comeback than Lazarus at the moment because people had declared his career to be over. Baz Smith did not play. He was my number one trade-in last week, and he didn't take the park. And as it sounds right now, the messaging coming from Geelong is that he probably won't play this week. They're going to be conservative heading into a game at Brisbane in very, very wet conditions. Personally, as a Smith owner, I wouldn't want him to play. I want him cherry ripe for next Friday against the Demons. So hopefully he can go out there and drop 110 at GMHBA Stadium. He's averaging 147 there this year. So we want him healthy and fit. And hopefully, if you don't own him, he's going to hurt you because I've got him and he didn't give me a single point last week. Caleb Daniel, nice return to form, 116 points. He's a lock on all sides. Pel Pepper, many traded, dropped 80, kicked 3, played a very weak Richmond side. So he's not going to do that every single week. Would I be trading him in? No. Would I be trading him out? Absolutely not. And the last 3 names, Isaac Kako, Elijah Hewitt, and Sam Davidson, all going to really vary what they score week to week, depending on whether they kick a goal or they get involved in some handball chains. Personally, I should have played Davidson. I'll be playing Davidson going forward. I just like the looks of Kako after his debut against Hawthorn, and I thought his scoring potential was quite high based on limited possessions. I was wrong. And finally, Levi Ashcroft is my flex. I brought him in last second for Matthew Flynn. 70 is not really what I wanted. I probably could have got more out of a flex, or I probably should have picked Xavier Lindsay instead, which I'll do this week, but not too disappointed with Levi. Would love to see a big spike score coming soon. Sorry, I'm slurring my words. I haven't had a morning coffee yet, just on the Oasis water. What? This isn't an ad? Okay, now let's get back to my pretty face. Okay, what are we doing this week? Who are the must trade-ins? Personally, number 1 is still Nathan O'Driscoll. There's no graphic coming. There's no title coming. I'm not going to say, O'Driscoll's so-and-so. So we know. I think he's a 5th-year player. He's dropped big hundreds before. He's a big body as well. And there's games where Sarong or Brayshaw cop attention. So no one is going near Nathan O'Driscoll. His role is secure. He's getting CBAs. You must own Nathan O'Driscoll. The second player I think you must own is Xavier Lindsay from the Melbourne Football Club. He is currently $158,500. He's averaging 82, and he's just good. Just straight up, he's very good at football. He's got a nice midfield role for the Ds. They're changing that midfield mix. They invested a high draft pick in him. I mean, at the end of the day, he might have been traded for pick 5 in this year's draft, as Melbourne no longer have a first-round pick in 2025. So this player, Xavier Lindsay, will get as many opportunities as he can take for the rest of the season. It's going to make you a nice bit of money. Well over $100,000, you need Lindsay, you need O'Driscoll. Now, these are the, it would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice? Play the Beach Boys music. Wouldn't it be nice if we were older? There you go. These are the players that, if you could swing it, if you could get him in, that would be very, very nice. Levi Ashcroft. 185,000, averaging 78. 78 is good. I mean, it is good for a first-year player. We want a little bit more. We want a big spike score. Do you have to get Levi? No. Would you get him if you had the opportunity and no big issues? Yes. He'd be the next one I would get. Just because the junior numbers, the role is decent, and the DPP is coming. In round 6, he will almost certainly be a Supercoach forward, which is crucial because we've got so many stinky forwards every single week, every single year, really, in Supercoach. So if he's a plug and play at your F6 for another couple of weeks after round 6, then I think that really increases the temptation to pick him in your Supercoach side if you don't already own him. From there on out, number 4, wouldn't it be nice? Mitchell Nevitt at 149,000. Now, he got 80 in round 1, 58 in round 2. Those are decent scores, especially with Bailey Smith likely still out, Tom Stewart likely still out. Those are 2 key prime movers from the Geelong Football Club's midfield. So Nevitt should be afforded at least another 3 to 4 weeks in the side to make us some serious coin. Another Geelong player who's now on the borderline, like, oh, it would be nice, but how do I do this? Connor O'Sullivan, 148,000, averaging 68. Now, the first week wasn't great. I think, or was it a score around 50? Didn't give me much encouragement. But last week against St Kilda, 88 points and a bunch of intercept marks late in the game after Stewart had already left the contest. This is a player I like. This is a player I own, and I think his job security is okay for at least the next 2 weeks. The issue is what happens after Jake Kolodjasny comes back. What happens when Stewart and Smith both come back next week? That's 3-4 changes to Geelong's side, and it's going to be a shorter week. They play Friday at the Cattery after a Saturday night game at the Gabba, and it's going to be torrential rain as well at the Gabba. So there could be some sore bodies. There will be some changes. Am I guaranteeing that O'Sullivan and Nevitt play? No. But I still think it's likely that both of them play next week. So if you wanted to get both of them in, or particularly Nevitt, that's fine. O'Sullivan's just a little bit more dangerous. But based on the fact our defensive rookies are so poor, there's a real dearth of on-field rookies that can contribute week to week, then I really do like the O'Sullivan trade. But it's more horses for courses. It's based on your personal structure. After that, Sam Davidson, pretty much all have. He's very highly owned. But as a forward who can play, who can show he can get 70, got 100-something in the Pracky match, you need him. You want Davidson. Jack Henderson, he's like this would be nice, but I don't need this. It's like when you go out shopping, and you're like, oh, okay, I need a new shirt. I need some new pants. Wait, do I need some new, Lynx Africa spray? Do I need some Brute aftershave? Probably not. But I might as well get the family gift pack and give it to my brother for Christmas. I mean, that's the smart thing to do. The smart thing would be to have Jack Henderson on your bench and to have Elijah Hewitt on your bench because they're going to make money and they're cheap. Okay? But I'm not guaranteeing you they're going to play the next month. I'm not guaranteeing you that they're going to make a heaps of coin. But as long as they play, they will make you serious cash. They just need to get on the park and stay there. Issue with Henderson, Melbourne have May, Lever, and maybe Melksham coming back this round. Now, May and Lever, obviously very different positions to Henderson. Henderson's a half-forward midfielder. Melksham, similar position. It's more about how many changes will Melbourne make, and is it a first-year player that is the first one out? We don't know that. We'll see teams later tonight. Okay. Now time for the next segment. It is stay or go. Slay or no? I'm going to call it stay or go, okay? First name, Harry Perryman at $407,400. That's a lot of money for someone who gets 50s, who gets 60s, who had a bunch of CBAs round 1 and now can't get near the midfield. He is a 100% go, sell, okay? Jaden Short. Jaden Short is $442,300, averaging 77. He was on 63 at halftime in round 1 and hasn't gotten a kick since. He just hasn't. This is a player who averaged around the 100 mark 4 of the last 5 years. It just happens that last year he averaged 20 less than 100, and it appears he's no longer a great Supercoach option. Jaden Short must go, sell, no, do not stay in my side, okay? Luke Ryan, This is a big, big one. A real tough one as well. Luke Ryan was just about the best defender in SuperCoach last year, averaging, 116 points? He's a beast. The issue is he started really slowly this year and he started really strongly last year. So if you hold him, you're going to lose $80,000 off the bat. He's going to get all the way down to 560. And if he shows form, other people will get him. We know what his upside is. It's a really high upside due to his high mark, high kick game. Would I be selling him? Jeez, I think he's still a top tenner. Like, you hope he's a top tenner, but you've seen this change so much. Like, he's top 3 last year. He might not be top 10 this year. It is possible. We've seen Lockie Whitfield average like 116, then average 90 the next year. Like, the variation on these players, it happens overnight. And you might think, the year before that. Well, it becomes old data pretty quickly. We change our mindset to what's actually in front of us within a couple of weeks. I would hold Ryan because I know how good he is, but it's a tough hold because the money that will be lost and the fact he's not performing like a premium. So it's a soft hold right now on Luke Ryan. Colby McKershaw at 476,000. He's averaging 60. He's got to go. Unfortunately, I'm sorry for Colby. You're a magnificent player, but you're playing like a bit of a wing role. You're getting forward. You kicked a goal on the weekend, but it's not enough points. You're not chopping up half back like you were last year. That's Caleb Daniels' role, and that is the main Supercoach scoring role in North Melbourne on the half-back line, unless you're Finn O'Sullivan. So personally, I think McKershaw has to go at that price. He's simply not performing well enough. Riley Sanders, another player I loved in the preseason, he's 339,000. He's just too much for a player that can't drop hundreds. We picked him, or a lot of people picked him under the assumption he'd get heavy midfield time. That hasn't been the case of the Doggies. He's played a lot of full forward. I mean, we thought he might be Mark Rasciuto, but Mark Rasciuto won a Brownlow. Mark Rasciuto could play in the midfield. Riley Sanders doesn't get midfield minutes. That's the big issue right now. He was standing at full forward against Collingwood on Friday night. The scores aren't there. He played well in round 1, but he also kicked 2 goals. If he doesn't kick 2 goals, then what is he going to score? He's going to score 50s. He's a kid. He's a second-year player. It takes time to build up that tank, to build up your body, to mash it with the men of this competition. Sanders is a must-hold. Sanders is a must-go. He's a must-trade. You just can't trust him right now. Will Day. Will Day was such a popular pick after his opening round performance. He's currently 502,000, averages 100. The issue with Will Day is the tags have come, attention has come. He's had 2 very poor scores for a 500k supposed midfield premium. I just don't see a way where he's a top 10 midfielder. And this is your chance to get out. You can get out of the Will Day sweepstakes right now because he's never proven to be an elite Supercoach scorer. He's been good for a block of 6 to 8 weeks, but never for a whole season. There's simply better Supercoach players. This isn't real life. This is fantasy sports. I think Will Day is a trade. Matthew Flynn. Now, a lot of people did trade out Matthew Flynn, myself included, last week. We know that Bailey Williams got subbed out of that game with cramp. We also know that Archer Reed was listed as out or injured during that game. We'll see if he's selected this week. It's just too hard with Flynn. He's clearly ruck 3 on their depth chart. They have no confidence in him. I mean, he held his own. He was okay against Jared Witts in the first round, but then he was instantly dropped. So clearly there's no confidence in him within the West Coast side. I can't hold him. If he plays this week as the first ruckman, that's fine. You can hold him. He might make you a little bit of money. But personally, there's other better options that you can use that money on. And finally, these are all 3 holds for people that have like a tight sphincter at the moment. They're not sure what to do with them. Maxi Gawn, he's the GOAT. Got to hold Maxi Gawn. Caleb Sarong, disappointing start. You got to hold Caleb Sarong. He's one of the elite scorers in Supercoach. He's going to get it right. He plays West Coast this week. Hopefully, he can bounce back. LDU, 2 subpar scores for a top line premium. Wouldn't be trading LDU, especially if North start winning games. He's going to start building into them. He's going to have some big performances in order to keep North relevant week to week. I wouldn't be trading Luke Davies-Uniacke. And of course, Christian Petracca, Mr. On Track himself. He looked good in the first 2 rounds. He hasn't scored that well. I wouldn't be trading him because I'm certain you've got bigger issues. Now, I want to look at the sub 210K guys. These are the people which must make up the core of your roster because they're going to make you a bunch of money, okay? Number 1, Nathan O'Driscoll. Number 2, Xavier Lindsay. Number 3, Levi Ashcroft. Number 4, Mitchell Nevitt. Number 5, Connor O'Sullivan. Number 6, Sam Davidson. Number 7, Jack Henderson. Number 8, Elijah Hewitt. And number 9, Murphy Reed. I think those are the 9 players that you'd most want in your side, with Henderson, Hewitt, and Reed being clearly below the top 6, just based on job security and their scoring potential right now. If your player is not listed there, that means they are bad, and I don't want them in my Supercoach side. Or if they are listed there, right at the bottom, like a Zachary or Luke Trainer, welcome. Please score 50 points this round. Okay, please. Okay. Welcome to the madness. These are the players that could ruin your side or be the making of you. We start with the doctor himself, Joel Frazier. Dr. Joel Frazier Crane. I'm listening. $370,000 for a man averaging 104 points. Is he the one to get into our Supercoach backlines? You know, I'm tempted. Oh man, I'm feeling tempted. But here's the thing. He's 370,000. You're picking him, I think, for at least 4 weeks. You're not picking him for a quick pump and dump. You can make $80,000 out of him, but do you see him sustaining these scores in the next month? It's hard. It's a hard one because he's never proven it. Doggies fans are calling him a right-footed Bont. I mean, that's probably enough to pick him in your side. So I'm not going to say don't pick him. I just don't know whether it's worth the risk right now. And you go with some more proven players. Time will tell with Dr. Crane. Okay. Next one, Jake Bowie. 337,000. Jake Bowie, really? Are we going to go down this route again? It's not 4 years ago, okay? We all rode the Jake Bowie roller coaster when he was 270K and Salem was injured. Salem's fit, but Bowie's averaging 100. Personally, I don't think it's a good move. You're going to make, what, at best, 85,000, and then what? He's not going to average 100. Like, Jake Bowie's not averaging 100. A best case scenario for him would be like 85. Last 3 years, it's been 80, 75, 75, I'm pretty sure. Or even lower than that, even in the high 60s. He's not going to sustain this. Don't fall into this trap. Like the player, hate the pick. Next one, Jai Simpkin, who has $430,000 with 108 average. This is an interesting one because we thought Simpkin would play mainly half forward to start the year. He's played a more expansive role than that. He's had midfield minutes. He's gotten the ball all over the ground, really. He's had 20-plus touches in both games. He's kicked goals as well. Do you think he's going to be a top 8 forward? Very likely. I mean, based on the forward rankings right now, I mean, we're going to get some DPPs, which will change things up a little bit. But as we see it right now, very likely to be a top 8 forward. Am I going to pick him? No, because I have every North player, or I will at some point. I've got Daniel, I've got Sheasel, I'll need Cherry, and I might need LDU at some point. Who knows? I just don't think you need Simpkin as well. But if you picked him or you've owned him, well done. He's going to be a nice point of difference for your forward lines. Personally, I'm not a Simpkin backer. I know when Wardlaw comes in 2 to 3 weeks, as he's listed, then the role will change slightly again. I can't convince myself to go and pick Simpkin right now. This is a shooting from the hip. If you watch the Phantom's Lair, pew, 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 this is a serious pod. It is Riley Thilthorpe from the Adelaide Football Club, priced at $370,000. He's gone, 97, 98, and he plays North Melbourne this week. I just think Riley is about to tear this comp apart, and he's scored well without kicking bags. He's kicked 3s and 2s, but what happens when he kicks 5s and 6s and he has a day out? He's proven that he can drop 140s before. I think his ability to score is right up there with all the forwards that are available to us right now. He's on a very high-powered side. I just think he's going to get a lot of looks. They're going to be trying to get him the ball, and his accurate kick for goal. I think Thilthorpe at 370 is super risky, but if you're playing the money game and you're playing the matchups, he's going to make you $100,000, and he's probably going to pop up another 290s in the next 2 weeks. It's not the worst you can do. The issue is you want Rankin, and Rankin's $520,000, and he's a superstar. So do you want 2 Crows forwards or 2 Supercoach forwards in your forward line from the Crows? That's up to you. But at 370, if you're struggling for coin, it's not the worst option, keeping in mind you probably have to trade him later in the year. Okay. And the final one is Christian Salem from the Melbourne Football Club, averaging 111, priced at $430,000. I personally don't think this is a good selection because Salem hasn't averaged anywhere near premium numbers since 2021. Now he's had injuries. I think, was it a thyroid issue as well? Preach. I've got Hashimoto's. I see you, Salem. I see you. But realistically, I don't think he's going to be a premium option because there's other better defenders. And at 430, you're almost picking him as a premium. He'd be a D6, D5, and you're going to be pulling out what non-existent hair you have when he's dropping up 70s in round 8. It's just not what you want from your player. Out of all those madness players, Fraser be 1, Simpkin be 2, and Phil Thorpe a distant 3rd. I wouldn't be having entertainment on any Jake Bowie or Christian Salem selection. And finally, it is time for my trades for round 2. What am I going to do? Okay. These are the players I think they got to go. Starting with Elijah Sardis. I'm sorry, Elijah. I like you. I hope you're a star for my football club in the not too distant future, but you're out this week. You're out next week as well. And then we head over to Adelaide to play the Demons at Gather Round. Unless you drop 85 in that game, you're going to be a really bad hold. You wouldn't have made much money and you would have given me no scores for 3 weeks. I think you got to go, unfortunately. Even though I do like the role, I like the potential scoring. He got 78 in a blowout. He got, 50 in a game he barely played in the first half against the Hawks. The potential is there to score well. I just don't think it's the right time for us, okay? It's not you, it's me. Well, it is you, okay? You're not playing, so piss off. And coming into my team will be Xavier Lindsay. The one must-have rookie I don't own. I stuffed up not picking Lindsay. I picked Angus Hasty instead, but I will correct my error. Everybody, the biggest thing in SuperCoach is owning your errors and correcting them as soon as you can. Being stubborn is one of the biggest failures in SuperCoach. It'll dog you the entire season unless you admit your faults and what you did wrong. And not owning Lindsay was my biggest error so far. Another player I think I'll have to bid farewell to this week, Finn O'Sullivan from the North Melbourne Football Club. Finn has not been good. I'm sorry, he just hasn't. He's dropped 2 40s, which is not enough for a 200,000 price rookie. And unless he drops an 80 or like a 75 in the next 2 rounds, then you're not going to make any money out of him. And it's just not worth the worry if he could be a sub or subbed. He's not a big scorer. Like, the role is okay, but he hasn't proven to get enough of the pill. I'm sorry, O'Sullivan. You have to go at 200K. And coming in will be... That's the big question. The big question. At the moment, it is Jack Henderson. Okay? Hendo, as I like to call him. Not Dan Henderson. Jack Henderson. $99,000 for the Melbourne Football Club. I think you'll appreciate in about, $140,000, $150,000 if he plays the next 3 to 4 weeks, which is great. At 99K, it is so hard to go wrong in SuperCoach. These players make you a bunch of money. You need them. It's more job security. We know that Cozzy Pickett's back next week. We know that Malcolm's potentially back this week, and that Lever and May are both coming back, and they lost by 10 goals to North Melbourne, who have won 10 games in 6 years? Yeah, okay, that's bad. That's bad. That's a worry. But we think that Hendo will keep his spot in the side. If he doesn't, we will make ulterior plans, okay? We've got the money. We've got the strategy. Believe in the vision. Believe in the project. Finally, the big money trade I'm going to make. Jaden Short, get out of my team. Get out. Just stay out of my side. You haven't been good enough to stay in the Superstars for 1 more minute. But who comes in? This is what I need help with, okay? To finish off the show, you can tell me, you can scream at me, you can contact me through subliminal messaging, maybe some sort of ESPN. I don't know what to do with this defensive premium move. Short goes out, but who comes in? Is it Bailey Dale? Bailey Dale is flying, averaging in the 130s. He's $523,000. A lot of people have him as their must trade-in option. My only thing is he's only been a premium, like a true premium, twice in the last 5 years. And it was like 2022 the last time he was a really true premium. We know that Daniel's now at North Melbourne. We know that Johannesson is injured. Is Dale the one? Is he the one? Oh, I'm just not certain. Price-wise, he looks great. But is he better than Zorko? Is he better than Whitfield? Is he better than Sinclair? Is he better than all these guys? I personally think he's a little bit worse just because he hasn't proven that consistency over the course of a season. Last year, he was a bull out the gates. He was flying. He was like gun-sinned, okay? He looked immaculate. But in the second half of the year, he was a bit slower. He was looking like Tom Melbourne, okay? It didn't perform the same way. I wouldn't have wanted him in my team come round 18. Is this different? Is the role expanded? Is he just a better player now? Is he getting a bunch of kickouts? No. Lockie Bramble had 5 kickouts, okay? But Lockie Bramble had 8 touches. What happens when Lockie Bramble doesn't take 5 kickouts? Bailey Dale might score 160. That's why I like Bailey Dale. But there's Sinclair. Sinclair might be the one. Sinclair's averaged in the top 6 the last 3 years. And he plays Richmond, who he always destroys. Then you have Zorko, the Magnificent, okay? The magician that is Zorko. I'm not paying for a 36-year-old. I'm just not doing it. I'm sorry. 36-year-old, I'm not doing it. It's just my rules. Is it right? Probably not. But it's what I live by. It's what I die by. And I'll probably die on that sword. Anyone else? Whitfield. I liked Whitfield, but if you look at his history, like last year was kind of like an outlier year for his last 5 years. We all know Whitfield is a brilliant Supercoach scorer in his youth, but he hasn't been a great option recently. Only last year was he awesome. Do we stick with that? I don't know. Personally, as it sits right now, it's Ballydale coming in, but I'm giving a lot of consideration to Jack Sinclair. I think he might be the one. I love the Saints, even though I look like little Nicky, and I'm making some devilish trades right now. That's it for Slam's Supercoach show. All the information you needed, hopefully it is now in your brain. Anything else you want to ask me, hit me up on Twitter at DarcyDuncan21. That is Darcy_Duncan21. Or on TikTok at DarcyDuncan21. Or, of course, at Slam Talk Sports on YouTube. Good luck, everybody. It is the big week in Supercoach. Make the correct trades, fix your errors, get it all right, and enjoy a big round of footy. We are back, baby. Footy is back. Life makes sense. Go Bombers. Please don't make me cry.